Now, let's cross to the world of video gaming now, and a dramatic shift in the way that the blockbuster game Call of Duty is marketed by its publisher. Look at it there, isn't it very exciting? There is a new version coming out in October, BlackOps6, but a big difference also coming in how gamers will pay for it. They'll pay a monthly fee to play it. Previously, they had to buy the title for anything from $70 to $100. Now, though, Call of Duty, played by 25 million people every month, will be bundled into a monthly subscription costing around the same as your Netflix subscription. Well, Pierce Harding-Rolls is head of games research at the market research firm Ampere Analysis and joins me now from Cambridge here in the UK. Hi Pierce, thanks for joining us. Tell us, explain for us, why is this so significant in the world of gaming?
It's significant because it's such a big franchise. So we've had games that have at launch gone into the subscription services before, but nothing at the scale of Call of Duty, which over its lifetime it's made sales of upwards of $30 billion. So it's a huge franchise. It's one of the top 5 franchises really in the game space, and for that to go directly into a subscription service, so it's going into Game Pass on Xbox platform and on PC Game Pass as well. It is quite a watershed moment for the industry.
So, I mean, you might think with a big blockbuster title like this, the publisher would take any opportunity they could to shake down the fans, not least with that introductory fee that they used to have to pay. But of course, things are changing, and there's going to be more opportunities for die-hard fans to spend money as they're playing, for buying things like extra lives. I'm sure Microsoft is not doing this, well, to lose money, are they? They think they're going to make more money out of this overall.
Well, I think they sort of, they're taking a kind of pragmatic approach to mitigating the costs of losing out on some of those premium sales. So there's the option really to upgrade to premium editions of the game, even if you've got the Game Pass and the standard version of the game. But yes, you're right. In terms of the in-game monetization, there's this big opportunity to monetize the audience on an ongoing basis. And that's really what makes games unique. When you're looking at the entertainment spectrum, the ability to monetize the audience within the game and keep that recurring revenue going on an ongoing basis.
Sure. So Piers, is this basically the world of gaming going a bit like the world of movie buying? Netflix is around and its equivalents, I should say. Nobody's buying, or hardly anyone's buying DVDs anymore. Is this the way video gaming is going as well? Nobody's going to be spending their 50 to 100 quid on a title. They'll be on a monthly deal like this.
Well, the idea of the Netflix of gaming has been around for probably a decade or so. I don't think it's going to switch like we've seen in the video space, like we've seen in the music space, because you have this unique ability to monetize in games. So it's not just about replacing what were sort of physical sales or premium sales, paid for games, with subscription revenues. It's the ability to reach bigger audiences and then monetize those people in game. Okay. And in that respect, subscription services are really incremental to the overall opportunity.
Okay, Pierce Harding from Ampere Analysis, thank you for that.
A major road collapse is causing big problems in a popular tourist spot. Take a look at this. A massive chunk of a highway that runs through Teton Pass in Wyoming is gone. People take this road to get to the Yellowstone National Park, and it could have a major impact on the local economy. Elise Preston has more.
Images of the gaping hole where the familiar Wyoming Highway 22 used to be have left the mountain communities who rely on it in shock. All that remains of the scenic route through the Teton Pass is an 80-foot drop that plummets into the valley below. From June through September, roughly 12,000 people would use the road each day to reach popular tourist destinations, which attract millions of visitors that boost the seasonal local economy.
This is the worst time for this to happen.
Engineer Bob Hammond says the mountainside had been shifting for decades at about a quarter-inch a year. When large cracks reappeared immediately after repairs, he knew a collapse was inevitable.
By the time we left the site at 10:30 at night, it was moving about 6 inches an hour. And sometime during the night between Friday night and Saturday morning, it had catastrophic failure.
Thankfully, no one was injured. It's unclear when the highway will reopen. With limited options, traveling through the mountainous region could now take up to 3 times as long.
We're also working on short-term fixes, how we can get people from point A to point B.
For CBS Mornings, Elise Preston.
He just came up. Are the teleprompters not working, sir? Not even a little bit. Great job. And then I don't pay the company that does it, right? And then I end up with a story Trump doesn't pay. I don't pay contractors that do a job, and that's a job. And I hope the military revolts at the voting booth. So I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, nobody ever asked this question. And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there? By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted, or do I jump?
Terrifying incident at a rodeo in Oregon. Multiple people were injured after a bull jumped the fence into a crowd of spectators this weekend. Joining us now is NBC's Emily Ikeda. Emily, what happened here?
Jose, well, so many people caught off guard. The crowd of some 10,000 had been singing God Bless the USA during the final and most popular event of the night, when suddenly it took a terrifying turn. As you mentioned, the massive animal leaping over the fence and into the crowd. Many people in the crowd capturing the shocking incident on cell phone video. A warning, we should mention that some may find it upsetting.
A terrifying scene at a packed rodeo in Sisters, Oregon over the weekend. It happened during the final event of the night in front of a crowd of thousands. That's when a full-size bull nicknamed Party Bus jumped over a fence, instantly causing chaos in the stands. Danielle Smithers took this video.
I was panicked knowing that now this giant animal is out there.
The bull storming into a concession area, striking some in the crowd, knocking over a garbage can and sending terrified patrons scrambling.
We had a bull loose. We have one down.
The bull then flipped an unsuspecting woman several feet into the air. You can see her tumbling head over heels before slamming into the ground. 5 people sustained injuries, according to the Cloverdale Fire Department, although amazingly they say none were life-threatening. The Sisters Rodeo Association issuing a statement saying, in part, the rodeo announcer immediately activated the emergency response plan, adding that rodeo livestock professionals quickly responded to safely contain the bull.
He wasn't loose for more than, I would say, 25 to 30 seconds. He actually ran through a gate that was at the end of the arena and he went right back to where the rest of the bulls were kept.
The Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association saying while rodeo is a very entertaining sport, on very rare occasions, it can also pose some risk.
We're just very fortunate that nobody else was hurt or hurt worse.
And organizers of the event say the bull was checked out by veterinarians and is okay. But my gosh, Jose, you look at that video and you think it really is remarkable there weren't even more serious injuries.
Yeah, I mean, Emily, the agility of the bull, too.
Incredibly athletic animal. I guess it's why it's involved in these rodeos. But yeah, a massive animal leaping over the fence. It's pretty stunning to see.
Yeah, really amazing. Emily Ikeda, thank you so much. It's great seeing you.
How about that for a beautiful live shot out of Paris, France? The Eiffel Tower. And you know what? It's not raining. How amazing is that? There's a lot raining down, though, on the parliament elections. It's sending shockwaves across the continent after far-right candidates made unexpected gains. Nowhere is that more pronounced than in France right now, where President Emmanuel Macron's moderate party was beaten so badly by the far-right party of Marine Le Pen that Macron called for a snap election, dissolving parliament in the process. Patrick Reevell joins us now from London. So, Patrick, let's explain to our viewers a little bit of European politics 101 here, and start with, what is a snap election?
Hi, Kira. Yeah, I mean, as you say, these European elections have really had the most impact in France, where Emmanuel Macron has called the snap election. And it's because in these European elections, Marine Le Pen, the far-right leader of the National Rally, formerly known as the National Front, achieved unprecedented success. She took about a third of the vote in those elections, and that has prompted Emmanuel Macron to call this surprise snap election, saying that he needs to confront the rise of the far right and that he believes it must happen now. And it's an attempt, basically a gamble, to try and head off the far right before France's presidential elections in 2027. And we should say, you know, these are going to be parliamentary elections. They're not going to be presidential elections. That means that Macron's post itself is not under threat from Marine Le Pen. But if Marine Le Pen was to have a strong showing in this snap election, he could find himself in the worst-case scenario having to share, essentially try and govern with a far-right prime minister. Having said that, you know, European elections are very often about protest votes. That doesn't mean that they're going to translate into a strong showing for the National Rally in these snap elections. But what most experts are saying is that this is a huge gamble by Emmanuel Macron. And essentially, we're looking at what's going to be a referendum on the rise of the far right in France. And right now, the outcome isn't really clear. Kira?
So if we can read the tea leaves for a second, does this give any insight into the election this year? In 2016, you know, Brexit was a preview of a Trump victory. Any chance of a similar situation here?
You know, I think that's a very interesting question. I mean, I think obviously far-right parties here in Europe would like to see it that way. They hope that they are a predicator of a Trump victory, and obviously they see a great deal of similarity in their movements. But the picture from these European elections that we've just had is much more complicated when you look at it overall, because ultimately, despite the headline that the far right made significant inroads, in reality, you know, the centre more or less just about held. Centrist parties took the largest share of the seats in the parliament. The mainstream centre-right party still dominates the parliament. And that means that ultimately, for now, the consensus of the centrists is going to continue to govern in Europe. I think the question of Brexit is particularly interesting in France, though, because, yeah, a lot of experts are comparing Emmanuel Macron's decision to call this snap election, similar to David Cameron